they see and why. Sorry, I'll have to keep a time on the whole thing. So if I can give you a minute and a half each, and if you can go. Shall we start with you, Raj Seelam? Sorry. Sorry, Raj, your audio is off. You mute, unmute, please.
Sorry. Yeah. So I said good afternoon, good evening, based on which time zone one is in.
Yeah.
So I'm the founder of a company called Shrestha Natural Bioproducts, we more popularly known by our brand name 24 Mantra. So we're primarily organic food company. We are a farm to fork company. We work with about 40,000 small farmers on about 250,000 acres across India in about 15 states. So we train these farmers in growing organic products, crops, and then we buy it back. So we primarily started this company to create sustainable livelihood for farmers and sustainable lifestyles for consumers. So we process these products under the brand name 24 Mantra and then market across India and then in about 40 countries across the world. So, and millets are a very significant portfolio for us. So we work with all the millets, jowar, bajra, ragi, then all the small minor millets. So the entire range of millets, both as straight products and also as ingredients in multi-ingredient products. Yeah. Thanks.
Fantastic, Raj. Yeah, and probably I'll ask you one more, like, what do you see the biggest opportunities with millets and sorghum and why?
I think the world is waking up to the benefits of these products. It's kind of forgotten for, let's say, 20 or 30 years about these products. So health, nutrition, and then a lot of other trends like vegan, vegetarianism are the big opportunities. And then millets are bang in the center of this as something very nutritious, very healthy, and then fitting this new age needs of consumers of food who are looking for something sustainable, something healthy and nutritious.
Perfect. Thank you, Raj. I'll go and ask Shauravi to introduce herself and tell her about same thing about her company and products and what she sees. Welcome, Shauravi.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me here. It's really nice to see so many people across the world and others in the field of millet, some of whom I've met and others I haven't. I'm Shauravi, and along with my business partner Meghna, I'm the co-founder of a company called Wholesome Foods. We have a food brand for children called Slurrp Farm. And it actually started when both of us, I was not a parent and Meghna was, and we realized that a lot of our friends who had become new parents were asking us to bring food for them back from the UK where I lived then. And I didn't understand that disconnect. And then later, as I had my own child, I'm half South Indian, half Kannadiga, and in my family, eating millets has always been the norm. It's not been the exception or something new. And so a lot of things that my grandmother said about how to make cereals for my child when he first started eating, all of that was in many ways the foundation of what we make at Slurrp Farm. We make a range of different products. So, firstly, we sell millets in their original form, so sprouted ragi or ragi. But we've also made pancakes, dosas, snack products, cereals. We recently launched a really exciting cake range, which is, it is fully made with millets. It has no wheat at all. It's vegan, so there's no milk powder or any dairy in it. And you can cook it without an egg. And we're always excited and we also make cookies and other things like that. So we're always excited to bring millets back into a form and function that people are used to eating. And try to innovate and really come up with products that help people think about millets as just something cool and exciting and acceptable, not something that is, ancient or just it's healthy, but I don't want to eat it because it's not tasty. It's important that it's also perceived as tasty. We work with primarily 3 millets today. We work with ragi, with foxtail millet, and with jowar. We decided to stick with these 3 because supply was chains were clearer than some of the smaller millets. We also sell our products apart from India in the UAE and in Singapore. And we really enjoy bringing biodiversity. So apart from millets, also looking at legumes and pulses back in the diet. And our brand tagline is made by 2 mothers, because every recipe always has to pass what we would be happy to give our own children. And that's our sort of mission, and wanting to do right by our own family. And then, not necessarily what you would be able to make at home. You can't make a puff snack in your home kitchen, but if we make a pancake, if we make a dosa, that's what I would love to have, and that core quality of ingredient in my house kitchen. And Ashok, on your question on what is the sort of opportunity, it really is for people to embrace eating different things again, and it's happening in the West. So you can see, I always say the Nordic countries are the precursors to all the habits that we will be following in about 10 years' time. And so if you go to Sweden, Norway, Denmark, people are eating different grains, have started this whole grain tea concept. And in many ways, millets have the ability to be the quinoa of, Africa, India, and China, regions where they're already eaten and grown. So it's a very exciting time. And I wish for this whole group that there would be more research on their medical and nutritional aspects. So, we keep saying millets are low GI. If there was a way to prove that, that would be fab. So that's what we're looking forward to. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Shauravi. I'll go to our next panelist, Arun Nagpal. Arun, if you can tell us about yourself and your company and the products, and what would you think with millets and sorghum, and why?
Yeah. Good evening.
Oh, yes, you're there, Arun.
Good evening. Pleasure to be here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my views. So I am co-founder of a social enterprise called Mrida, which is Sanskrit for soil. And through Mrida, our objective has been to, create sustainable livelihood opportunities for people at the bottom of the pyramid in rural India, and facilitate sustainable and scalable holistic rural development. So, the way in which we got into millets, and we incidentally work on amaranth as well, so was, if we really want to facilitate holistic rural development, we need to work with small and marginal farmers. So that's how we started working with small and marginal farmers in the state of Uttarakhand who were cultivating millets. And, we ended up creating a brand called Earthspired, or Inspired by the Earth. And the objective of Earthspired was that, instead of having the farmers and people in the villages sell millet or amaranth as a grain or as a commodity, the idea was to help them to move up the value chain and, help them to sell processed products or value-added products. So under the Earthspired brand, we've got a range of multi-grain millet-based flours. So we've got a gluten-free high protein, we've got a low glycemic index, diabetic-friendly flour, southern spice, northern spice. So there are 6 different varieties of flours. And then further moving up the value chain, we've got a range of ready-to-eat products. We've got a range of gluten-free cookies in 6 different varieties. We've got a range of ready-to-eat snacks and ready-to-cook millet-based upma and khichdi. So that's the kind of product range that we have under the Earthspired brand. And as I mentioned, the whole objective was to, create sustainable livelihood opportunities for small and marginal farmers, for women and people in the villages, and then convert it into a product. So that the idea is to sell a healthy product to the end consumer, for a social enterprise like Mrida to create a business opportunity for ourselves. But the whole objective of that business opportunity is to create sustainable livelihood opportunities for people in rural India. So that's about the company and the product. In terms of your question regarding the opportunities, well, I think first and foremost, the increasing awareness towards health and wellness, I think that's a huge opportunity for us. And more so, in the current pandemic situation where there is more of a focus on healthy food products. So getting back, into ancient grains like millets is in itself a huge opportunity. There is also this, segment called the LOHAS, which is the lifestyle of health and sustainability, which is increasingly, people cutting across all age categories who are looking at, health as well as sustainability. Now, these are healthy ancient grains, so that itself fits into the LOHAS segment. And then considering the lower water footprint and the fact that these are products which are environment friendly, so that also fits in. So that's, the two main opportunities that I see for millets today. Thank
you so much, Arun. We'll move on to Pallavi Updhyaya. Pallavi, if you can tell us similar thing, and we'll love to hear you.
Hi Ashok. Hi, hello everyone. To all the panelists, thank you for having me here today. It's really wonderful to see such a vibrant range of entrepreneurs and listen to what they're doing. My name is Pallavi Updhyaya. I am the co-founder of a social enterprise. The company, it's called Sakala Nutrition, and our brand is Millets for Health. We started our work in 2016, and it was an inspiration from a personal health journey, as well as some connect and some work that we had been doing with farmers. The co-founder Rajeev is also on the panel today, but he will be talking about the work from the farmers' perspective. So I'm not going to get into that. As a company, as a millet brand, what we believe in is promoting millets as staples. So that has been our focus right from day one. What we've been focusing on is looking at the entire range of 8 to 9 millets that are there: ragi, bajra, jawar, foxtail millet, kodo millet, proso millet, little millet, all of the millets, and work on increasing their uptake as staple foods, the way we would eat wheat and rice. So that's what we started from day one. And yes, it was a bit difficult for us in the beginning, but then we improvised and we did a lot of work in terms of changing strategies. So consumer engagement was a large part of what we have done over the years, and increasing awareness on what millets are, how to cook them, cooking workshops, so much so that that's also another vertical that the company has now. So our cooking workshops and catering is also another line that we do. But basically it's everything is nicely connected together, as in it all reinforces the other. So this is what Millets for Health has. And in terms of our products, we do whole millets as they are. We do flours, we do sprouted mixes. We have ready-to-cook products like khichdi mix and ravas, upma rava, and things like that. And we also have a range of snacks like popped sorghum or some murku and some roasted mixes, which are ready-to-eat snacks. For the past year, we've also been doing a lot of, in a very ultra-local way, we've been doing a lot of baked goods like breads and pizza bases and burger buns, etc. But that's very local, so that's not for the national market, but pretty much where we are. So this is what we do. We try to bring the whole experience of millets to the consumer and expose them to the many, many, many ways in which they can be eaten, and at the same time increase their awareness on how how good they are and what are the health benefits and how they're also contributing to the environment when they're eating millets. Coming to the market opportunity, I think going forward, one of the things that we all, as entrepreneurs who are working in the millet space and millet ecosystem, should be looking at is maybe creating products, like wheat and rice. There are so many ways that they are available in the market and so many varieties. Like I heard Shauravi talking about the cake mix, and I think that's where we should all be trying to, things like that, products like that is what we should be trying to move to because so the market has so many varieties and so many ways in which we can eat wheat, rice, and maida. I think as entrepreneurs, we need to figure out how people can eat millets in so many different ways. And it's an opportunity for all of us. We all need to maybe have a symposium, workshop, whatever, co-create products, work with ICAR, ICRISAT, IIMR. We all need to work together and come up with these kind of products. I think that's a big opportunity ahead of us. So
fantastic. Thank you,
so
Pallavi. I'll jump on to Rajeev. Rajeev would be great.
Hi, thank you, Ashok. And I'm thrilled to see so many participants from different region, and all on talking about millets. And let me tell you a little bit what we do. We are a not-for-profit working in the area of climate resilient agriculture and nutrition, for which millets are the best fit. So lack of natural irrigation system can lead to loss of livelihood opportunities for the farmers in difficult situations, and can push their family prey to vicious cycles like male migration to urban areas, human trafficking, and prostitution. So SHODH is currently working with more than 1,000 farmers in Andhra Pradesh, mobilizing and helping them grow millets and sorghum. We are creating sustainable institutions to organize farmers to strengthen them as a collective. We are also working on reviving lost traditional knowledge systems, variety of millets and sorghum like Sitamma Jonna, etc., and traditional storage system, and traditional and effective farming tools. We also work on consumption side by popularizing and bringing back millets in the plates of farmers at rural areas and with slum dwellers in urban areas. So, regarding opportunity, growing awareness about millets and its usage is the biggest opportunity as I see. And this is because of 3 A's, which is availability, acceptability, and affordability of millets in general population. Thank you, Ashok.
Thank you so much, Rajeev, and thank you for all the esteemed panelists. Look, you are job creators, you're people with vision. People have come up into this business as entrepreneur to fill a gap or a need, and you are the wheels of economic development where you're creating jobs for others. I think it's fantastic what you've done. If I can ask, what do you think the biggest challenges for going your business are? And put the question to Arun Nagpal, and then Pallavi. Arun, do you want to go ahead and?
Sure. Yeah, so of course, we are at a slightly early stage. We just started about a little over 2 years ago. So we are in the process of actually fine-tuning our approach and strategies, etc. But I would say the first and foremost challenge that I'd like to share is basically sourcing, sourcing of the grain, both in terms of the consistency of supply as well as, the quality. Now, here what I'd like to emphasize is that since as a social enterprise, our focus has been on small and marginal farmers. So then the objective is that, the sourcing has to happen from a large number of small and marginal farmers, often located, in different areas. So how do we ensure the consistency of the supply, and how do we ensure the quality as well? And what we've been trying to do is actually small and marginal farmers to organize themselves into farmer collectives or farmer cooperatives, and over a period of time also work towards setting up of farmer producer organizations. Because for us, ensuring that the supply end is also taken care of from a social perspective is a very important and an integral part of our business. So I would say that that has been one of the challenges. The second one, of course, has been as a startup in, a fast-moving consumer good kind of product category, has been capital. So one is, of course, capital for sourcing and procurement. but also more importantly for distribution and brand building. So far, we've been selling products primarily through the online route, whether it's through Amazon, Big Basket, or through our own website. But then that has been fairly limited so far. So we're trying to work towards increasing that. The other thing that we need, capital is to also get into the retail segment. And as probably everybody is aware, that that's an expensive proposition. Getting into the retail segment itself, and then within the retail segment, being able to promote our products vis-a-vis others. So another way that I'd like to put it is, sustaining our existing markets and growing these markets and creating new markets as we go along. So I would say that those are the two main challenges that we've been facing in our experience so far.
Thank you, Arun. Sustaining and sourcing, very interesting. Pallavi, if I can go to you and ask the same question.
Yes. So there are two things I would like to highlight here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Pallavi, we can hear you. Yes, I can hear you, Pallavi.
My screen seems to be frozen here, so I'll just go ahead and continue. So there are two things that I would like to highlight here. The first thing is that when we started, and we were very clear that we wanted to focus on millets only, at least to begin with, and millets as staples. That was the vision. That is what we started with. And I think looking back, is challenges, because had we taken on other products, which was also very easy to do, then millets would have been just one of the additional things. But since we were doing only millets, the demand was not high enough for us. So sustaining was a bit difficult. So pushing that demand, increasing that demand, changing the behavior of consumers, making sure that they, it's a habit for them, that they're eating it again and again, finding newer markets. So all of that. But I think apart from being a challenge, it forced us to think on our feet. And because we stayed focused on the product, it really helped us to push the market and push our horizons and see where our customers are and where our potential customers are. So, that has been one of the challenges, but it's also been, maybe to look at it as it also has been a growth opportunity for us. The second thing is, of course, we're a bootstrap business with no funding. So finding the right kind of talent, the kind of people that you would like to have working with you and getting them to stay has been one of the biggest challenges. So then, eventually as founders, we end up doing a lion's share of the work because you don't have just, the right kind of talent with the kind of money that you have at present. So.
Thank you, Pallavi. Yeah, passion, I get, drives us a lot to us to get there. I guess not a lot of people have that passion. Thank you. So, inspired by Earth, personal health reasons.
The kind of money that you have at present.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next question and say, a lot of people have different things about how you can take in new products into the market, try to create a behavior change with consumers for millet and sorghum products. So if I can ask Raj Seelam to say something about it, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
As your tagline says, beyond commerce and behind farmers. So I guess that sort of explains a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you wanted to, sorry, can you repeat your question?
Sorry, my question was, you've taken new products into the market and tried to create behavior change with consumers with millets and sorghums. For what consumer awareness promotion have you found most effective?
Yeah. I think one is, I think we are dealing with two challenges. One is organic, then second is millets. that's been so obviously we needed to educate consumers about what is organic and the benefits of organic, and along with that, what are millets, and then how do millets benefit them. So I think these have been the two challenges, and then they continue to be challenges as we keep growing, because we need to keep on convincing more and more customers about this. So I think primarily what we have invested in last many years is actually building relationship with customers, creating opportunities for one-to-one conversations. Now we have done this primarily in two ways. One is, I think when we started off, our primary focus was on the supermarkets, because that's where consumers come, and then they have opportunity to explore, pick the products they want. So what we did was we trained a lot of young men and women, what we call typically as merchandisers in this. And then we also, what we did was we negotiated with the retailers to keep our brand together in a particular way. So then our people would stand there, and any consumers who walk into the stores, they would step up to them and then request for a minute, and then talk about organic and the benefit of the millet products, etc. So that been pretty effective for us. Then obviously this kind of thing has a limitation, in the sense how much more can you do? You need that many more people, and then once you have the initial set of customers who are already interested, or who are let's say primed for this kind of thing, then the next set of consumers become harder. So there, what we did was, we in the last few years, digital has become an important medium for us. So we have been trying to generate interest again offline, online, and then we have also set up a nutrition knowledge center, as we call, which is staffed by nutritionists. And once we get to know a consumer and they say they're interested, then our nutritionists actually call them, engage with these consumers through telephone and other media, and then help them out and educate about the products, and then convince them to try this thing. So these have been the two major ways in which we have been trying to do. Obviously, in digital, we have been using various social media and other platforms. We have also engaged with nutritionists. We have engaged with food bloggers to reach out to them. And in fact, what we have done is, with food bloggers, we have created a lot of recipes based on millets. Very modern, I would say, way of using millets. Because I think the traditional way of making millets, let's say making a jowar roti or a bajra kind of whatever roti, not many people know how to do this. And in my home, we ourselves struggle with my mother knows how to do, but my wife still has not become a full expert, though she does a decent job. So I think we have been trying to figure out how we can. Yeah. So we have been trying to find out how do we make it in a convenient to use form, or different recipes which are interesting, because people also want to try some new things. So we are trying to give a modern twist to something very ancient. So that's been, I think, our whole thrust and approach, and then we have found that to be pretty successful for us.
Thank you, Raj. That's as they say, old is gold. Mother's food is always tasty. So I'll go to Rajeev, and because I think you're working with slum areas and working with millets and education seems the biggest challenge in changing consumer behavior. Could you tell you about how you're doing that?
So we are working with slum dwellers in Delhi, and we have innovated. Like initially, when we visited them and we started talking about nutrition, they thought that this is some another government intervention, and we will be talking about the regular things But when we started talking about millets and old and ancient food, then they knew about it, but they did not want to connect with it, because it was, for them, it was not aspirational. It does not have any aspirational value. Then slowly they started recognizing it, and when we started doing innovative, our intervention is called Ghar Ghar Poshan. So we talk about how we can cook healthy and tasty food with millets and other healthy ingredients. So the tagline of our project is low cost, high nutrition. So we talk about local, available. We talk about they can get millets from their village, and we will teach them as how they can cook and how they can include in their day-to-day plate. So that was one part, and we also innovated, making bajra cookies on stove tops. So in one of our researches, we found that each household is spending around 50 to 100 rupees per day per child on snacks. So and the snacks was regular. I don't want to call their names, but it was regular chips and fried stuff. So then we started talking about healthy snacking, and slowly they are understanding it, and they are also accepting the fact that it is showing some significant difference in their family's health. And I would like to quote one of the cases. One of the participants of the project, her daughter had like 5.5 of RBC, blood count. So and after the intervention, it went up to 11.5. So in just 3 months of eating good food, it changed a lot. So that was that keeps us motivating. Ashok.
Fantastic, Rajeev. That's really good to hear. Thank you. And we'll go to the next question. Would certification or branding around smart food help in marketing to your consumers? Can I put the question to Arun, please?
Yeah. Okay. Well, absolutely. I think certification, particularly since at the moment millets is something which is still, I would say, a product in the initial stages of its product life cycle. So you're trying to increase the awareness about the product category itself. So there, if you have an institutional framework, let's say like ICRISAT, or if you have a common kind of a branding opportunity like smart food, I think that's an excellent way to at least get the thing started off. Now, I would look at it from two different perspectives. One is, of course, that how individual companies would leverage on the smart food concept in order to sell is probably part of individual marketing strategies, etc. So one would really not get into that. But where I think the whole concept of smart foods can play a very important role is to create some kind of an institutionalized framework or an institutionalized platform which will help promote the whole idea of millets as a smart food. So that I think is something very important. Now, again, here there could be two ways in which this could be done. One is that you certify companies. So an agency like ICRISAT certifies organizations. They kind of screen people who qualify to be, for their products to be categorized as smart foods, create a platform, and that becomes a platform where these organizations can talk to each other, they can exchange notes, they can value add to each other, they can synergize their efforts, etc. So that's one part. The second is when you have an institutionalized framework, you can also tie up with, let's say, government agencies and encourage the government to through a policy framework to promote cultivation or to promote millets as a product category. So that's the second institutional support mechanism that one can think of. And the third, I think one of the panelists also mentioned this whole idea of blogging. Now, rather than an individual organization engage with bloggers, etc., to promote millets as a smart food or millets as a product that needs to be promoted, I think if an institutional framework is promoting blogging, that is something which I think could significantly add value. From what I understand, how quinoa really became increasingly popular in the US and overseas is primarily through the blogging route. So something like that could be really attempted when we look at smart foods as a platform.
Thank you, Arun, for your insights on that. And yeah, very I think that's probably the best way to go ahead in promoting smart foods, working with SMEs. I was saying, it's very hard for any person to start up a business, small entrepreneurs. And so I just want to put up a question for our women entrepreneurs. What sort of challenges they have to go through, and give advice to other upcoming women and other entrepreneurs to start up a business. Pallavi and Shauravi, if I can ask you this question.
Sure. I mean, I think this would apply to all entrepreneurs, right? In some ways, and especially as women, if you have a family and you're trying to start a business, I think life is always more fun if you don't do it alone. All of us are trying to change habits and do difficult things like bring back healthy eating. And I think that my personal reflection on Slurrp Farm as a journey is it would not have been as much fun if I had tried to do it alone. I have two co-founders. One is Meghna and the other is, we always say two mothers, but it's really two mothers and a brother, the friend who does all the branding. And I think that it's very important to try not to do everything on your own. It's very, very challenging to do that. The second thing I would say really is that seek help and, both get mentorship and be a mentor when you learn things along the way, because that makes this journey all the more fun. And what I have personally enjoyed a lot is the many, many people who have helped us along the way, and in some ways building friendships with other people trying to do similar things, because we don't as much compete as we're all trying to do something similar and in the same space. And I think it also really helps because any business that you start, and anyone starts, men or women, has a 95% chance of failure. So in that statistical distribution probability, I do believe that you can make your luck. And, it goes back to the point of you can make your luck by seeking mentorship and reaching out to the world out there. And to do that is very important. So that would be my advice.
Thank you, Shauravi. That's very good advice for, I think, anyone who wants to do it. Pallavi, could I ask you the same question?
Yes. So that was wonderful, Shauravi, and a thing or two for everyone to learn from what you just said. So thanks a lot. What I would like to add here is, like we see, right, Shauravi and Meghna doing the business from their personal experience, life experience as mothers who wanted to do something good for children and bring healthy products for children. Me personally, I was inspired, and my personal benefits out of eating millets, which then I wanted to take to everybody. So I think as women entrepreneurs, what I would say most importantly is I would ask women to trust their instincts. If you do feel inspired to start something, do it, go along that path. And we've seen many successful entrepreneurs take their life experiences and turn it into a successful business model. So we need to we need more of that. I think we need more of people who find meaning in what they're doing and creating something meaningful out of their own personal meaning. So so I would urge women as well as others, all entrepreneurs, I would say, to create something out of something that is meaningful to you personally. The second thing that maybe I would like to add here is that I think what worked well for us to begin with is to go in for the lower hanging fruit first. So we knew we were already starting on a very difficult product to sell, and we were focusing only on millets. So I think what we did in the beginning and what worked very well for us is that we specifically targeted places where we knew we would have a higher rate of success. So people who are already eating organic, people who are already on that journey. So, when you're starting out, you need to figure out which is the easiest audience to sell to and go there first and then move on to others. So I think because we did that first, there was a lot of early and positive encouragement right in the beginning, which kept us going and also sustained the business to some extent, and also helped us hone our skills, hone our game, learn more, and learn from others who are doing the same thing. So yeah, these are the two things that I would like to offer.
Thank you so much, Pallavi. Very good advice, Shauravi and Pallavi. Yeah, so support, don't do it alone. Good luck if we can be wish with that, and know your consumers. I think it's fantastic. And continuing on, I think a similar question to all of our esteemed panelists. If I can start with Raj and ask you, tell us what's your top 3 needs of entrepreneurs to succeed with millets and sorghum products?
I'd say a difficult question. Yeah, I think one is, of course, in terms of the sourcing, and this becomes very important because what's happened is over a period of time, a lot of millets, they have been bred for feed purpose more than food. So I think that's one challenge, and which we have been working with research institutions and others. And a lot of times we have to go back and then discover some very old varieties, which were primarily meant for food, and then reviving those. We had to actually go to retired breeders because the university was not maintaining the germplasm anymore, and get some seeds from them and then start multiplying and giving it to good farmers, get multiplying and then propagating again. So that's one challenge from a sourcing perspective because the food requirements are different. Then the second thing is changing habits. Though a lot of people are interested in health, wellness, people talk about gluten-free, etc. But changing habits is generally a generational thing, right? So you see this, and then so that's the second big challenge. How do we introduce these products in a format or in a way which people find it easy to use, at the same time without compromising on the taste and the experience, eating experience factor. So that's the big thing which keeps us awake. Then third, obviously, reaching out to consumers, etc., is very expensive. So how do we innovate to make sure that every rupee or every buck, as they say, is really stretched so that we are able to manage within tight budgets. So I guess, of course, we have gone through a lot of other challenges like supply chain and other things, which to a large extent we have, I would say, conquered, or may not be the appropriate word, but a lot of those challenges to a large extent we have solved. So these are the 3 things I think which today I think occupy my time and my team's time trying to solve these problems.
Thank you, Raj, for those insights. Very useful and very interesting. Can I jump to Dr. Rajeev, if you can tell us what you think are the top three? And we are on the time crunch, so I'll sorry to be telling you this, but if you can be quick about it, thank you. Yes, Dr. Rajeev, if you can tell me, it would be great.
Yeah, sure. So the top three, priorities. The first one is to increase incentives for farmers to grow millets. The second one would be, despite of MSP, farmers aren't getting proper prices in the market. And the third would be, post-harvest facilities. So number one, the most important is, instant credit to farmers, because that is when the farmers need, they face a cash crunch at that time, and they need money instantly. So what happens is they sell their produce at a lower price. So that is one, and the second part is machinery to improve the cost of their produce. So that will be all from my side.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajeev. If I can put the same question to Shauravi. If Shauravi is there. So I'll skip on to Arun. My internet connection is unstable. Arun, if you can tell us the top three.
So the top three needs, as I would identify, one is, of course, individual, organization, or entrepreneur specific, which I think there is a need to have a clear vision, a roadmap, and an action plan in order to be getting into a competitive product segment. The second would be an institutional framework. I already dwelt with it a little earlier, and this institutional framework would promote millet as a product category, whether on one perspective would be promoted in India, possibly with the support of the local government. And the second part is through export promotion agencies to promote millets, Indian millets as a product category overseas. And the third one I would feel is, since there are a lot of entrepreneurs getting into this space and that's likely to increase, creating an opportunity for cooperation and collaboration amongst entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Arun. Very insightful. I'll jump on to Shauravi.
I think similar. I think firstly is like the whole piece around educating the consumer and how to do that in ways that are still feasible to be sustainable, because a lot of entrepreneurs in this segment really are bootstrapped, right? And we were for very, very long, and that's so doing the two together is hard. The second I would say, and I said it earlier, but I really want to say again, is that greater sort of medical and sort of nutrition research, and this can be both in a global sense and in India, would really, really, really help the cause.
Thank you. I think research is very, very important for us to get there. And if I can finally go up to Pallavi and ask you to tell us the top three, what do you think? Pallavi, are you there? Probably Pallavi is, yeah, hi. Okay, Pallavi, you're back. Okay.
There's some lag even when I was speaking earlier. I don't.
Yeah, I'm here.
See me or hear me.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, Pallavi, please go ahead.
I'm sorry. I keep hearing two of the previous speakers talk simultaneously. There's a bit of a lag. I don't know whether it's at my end or otherwise. So just give me. Yeah, 5 seconds, I think.
Sure.
Okay, so it's better now. All right. So a lot of the things some of the other speakers have covered, where we've been talking about export markets and opportunities for that. And I think a greater amount of education, or maybe, I mean, for somebody like me who's a first generation entrepreneur and learning everything on our own, it would be wonderful to have maybe more opportunities to learn about how we can expand the market and get into newer markets, specifically export markets. And I think the second thing is that even internally within the country, the kind of exhibitions and events that have happened in the last few years for us personally, they have been great opportunities to showcase our products, meet people, network with people, get to know them, and create and forge newer partnerships to promote our products. So, government supported opportunities. There's the Women of India Fest that used to happen. It happened this year also in February. So it was sponsored by the Ministry for Women Entrepreneurs, and that was a wonderful opportunity. I think that's one of the platforms that has really helped us market our products in a very, very cost-effective way. And it's been a great opportunity for us. So I think more opportunities like this would be definitely wonderful. And I think as entrepreneurs who are still trying to sell a product or work on a product that's still, I mean, I think when we started, I think it was just a few years ahead of its time. But I think now the market is, it's ready, but it's still a new product. So I think more handholding and more opportunities like this would really help us out.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank you, Ashok.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, I think opportunities are there because it's a new product. I think that's where we explore. I think that's where the market is created. Thank you for all the esteemed panelists to come on the webinar today. I would like to thank Mr. Raj Seelam, Ms. Shauravi Malik, Mr. Arun Nagpal, Ms. Pallavi Updhyaya, and Dr. Rajeev Pandey to take out time and give us insights on how should we grow the business, what are the advisors, the mentorships should be created, the difficulties we are facing. Thank you all.